When the doors closed behind us that day, it was both an end and a beginning.
When 4 African-American college students placed an order at a whites-only lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina in 1960, they sparked acts of civil disobedience in many other cities.
During the early weeks of February 1960, the demonstrations that came to be called the sit-in movement exploded across the South. Within a period of 2 months, the movement had spread to 65 cities involving every southern state, with the exception of Mississippi. The new tactic came as a surprise, creating bewilderment and confusion in the white communities and even among the Negroes themselves.
You go to a counter. You do not request that the person sitting next to you get up and leave. You merely come in and sit down beside him, as any human being would do. You cause no violence. You have no angry words. You're friendly. And it sort of helps to project the idea that here sits beside me another human being.
Altogether, it was a moving feeling within me that I was sitting there demanding a God-given right, and my soul became satisfied that I was right in what I was doing. At the same time, with something deep down within me, moving me, that I could no longer be satisfied or go along with an evil system, that I had to be maladjusted to it. And in spite of all of this, I had to keep loving the people who denied me service, who stared at me.
On the morning of the 27th, this was to be our first real violent day. It was the first time when we could really test our own convictions as far as nonviolent means were concerned. 5 ministers said to us, if you go downtown today, you're going to be arrested. Please don't go downtown, because we're not prepared. We should have community behind us. Paul LaPrade, he was one of the few white students who were with us. They always pick on the white students because they hate to see white sympathizers. When it happened, that all of us wanted to be hit. This was an experience that we needed to keep our movement going, to keep ourselves going, and to convince ourselves that we really were nonviolent.
Why? I asked myself, why? What have I done? Why is this to me? It was a feeling that never could be expressed by anyone unless it happened to them.
To test a ruling that outlawed segregation of bus stations and terminals serving interstate travelers, biracial groups of men and women volunteered to take bus rides through the South using the wrong facilities at stops. Several freedom riders were injured because of mob violence instigated by segregationists, eliciting an outpouring of support and concern.
What these people are doing is not just traveling through Alabama in interstate commerce or interstate travel. They're buying tickets from town to town and getting off in each town and seeking through mixed groups, Negro men and white women, to force themselves into situations which tend to inflame the local people and incense them.
We were antagonized by some of the hoodlums who were on the bus. As we got off the bus, Jim Peck and I, we decided to proceed with our plans.
Which were what?
To enter the lunchroom and the waiting room. So we proceeded down this ramp, and we were met by stares and catcalls. And as we entered the waiting room, the men who were aligned around the wall came toward us. They huddled us in a small corner by a pinball machine. Then they took me and forced me out of the door and threw me into the crowd, and there I was beaten by one big guy and several others. Then I was thrown forward, and I was hit on the back of the head with something.
Well, we were aboard a Greyhound bus coming into Birmingham. At Anniston, we were surrounded by a mob who followed us out of Anniston for about 4 miles until one of our tires went flat. At that point, they started breaking the windows of the bus with chains and pipes and one thing and another. They finally threw a bomb into the bus.
I'm tired of segregation, and now I want my equal rights, well respect and education, well not social integration. That's why I'm fighting for my rights. Oh, I'm fighting for my rights. Yes, I'm fighting for my rights. Yes, I'm fighting for my rights. Myself that I had no windows, so the air gets come through, and I felt so hot and stuffy, and that I didn't know what to do. So I was fighting for my rights. So I was fighting for my rights. I was fighting for my rights.
But we're going to keep coming until we can ride from anywhere in the South, any place else in the South, without anybody making any comments, just as American citizens.